bad Wall Street. He's going to protect them. He doesn't say that he has $1 million loan with Goldman Sachs. He doesn't talk about it. He doesn't say that the interest rate on that loan is practically nothing. You would like to have it. Believe me, you would like to have it. These people, I mean, it's all of them. It's not just Ted Cruz. It's all of them. And the reason our country is messed up, one of the big reasons, is the fact that they're all taken care of by every industry. Whether it's the automobile industry, you want to bring Ford back from Mexico, they'll tell you why you can't bring Ford back, because they get campaign contributions. They can't bring Ford back. You're right. He's right. Okay, now look. So I'm self-funding. When I want to bring somebody back, I bring them back. Nobody's going to call me and say, you can't do it. Let me give you an example. So the other day, I'm watching television, and I see somebody with the cell phone, the crazy cell phones where you watch. I'm watching television, and I see Carrier. I buy air conditioners from Carrier and many others. I won't buy any more from Carrier, by the way. And they're firing everybody from Carrier, 1,400 people, great jobs. They've been there for many years. They're firing these people. Why? Because they're moving to Mexico. Oh, great, great. How does that help us? How does it help us? They're moving to Mexico. They're going to make air conditioners in Mexico. They're going to sell them on the border. They're going to sell them, boom. They're going to sell them to the United States. We get nothing. We lose our jobs. We close our factories. Mexico gets all of the work. We get nothing. Now, you probably heard some of these really not smart people say, Donald Trump is not a true conservative. He is not a conservative. I'm very conservative. I'm the most conservative person in the world on the border. I'm the most conservative person in the world with respect to getting rid of Common Core. I'm the most conservative person in the world with getting rid of Obamacare. I'm the most conservative person in the world having to do with our military and rebuilding our military and taking care of our vets. But they say, they take commercials. Donald Trump, and I get a kick. I watch these guys. Watch stiffs. Oh. Many of these guys in private industry, they wouldn't be able to get a job. And they're running the country. But, Jesus, they're idiots. But think of it. So they're saying he's not a conservative person. Let me just tell you something. I believe in free trade, but it's got to be smart trade. It's got to be trade with China. With China this year, we're going to lose, trade deficit, $500 billion. With Japan, we're going to lose a tremendous amount of money. They send their cars here like it's candy, okay? Millions of cars we get. We send them wheat. We send them nothing. We send them sometimes cattle. And they don't accept it because their farmers don't want it. They don't want anything from us. So they send it back. That's right. So we take in from Japan. That was very good. I like that. That was very, okay, it's enough, but it's enough. Okay. Never overstay. Do you understand? He was getting ready to do it again. I don't want to hear it. Look. So we send them wheat. We send them cattle. They don't want our cattle, so they send it back. It goes back and forth, back and forth. Finally, they accept it. They call it Kobe beef because it's aged. I mean, the stuff is rotted. No, it's like rotted. So because it's aged, it's decaying, it's disgusting, they call it Kobe beef, and they charge you 10 times more for it. You tell me they're not smart? That's Japan. Japan is killing us. Komatsu, look at what they're doing to Caterpillar. A friend of mine is an excavator. He buys excavating equipment, right? He goes out and he buys excavating equipment. I say, what are you doing? You're not buying Caterpillar. I can't. They have cut the yen. They have devalued their currency to such an extent. First time in his life, he's buying excavation equipment from Komatsu. I said, what's the difference? He said, they're both good. Caterpillar's better, but this is good enough. I owe it to my family. I owe it to my wife. I owe it to my employees, my company. I understand what he's saying. They've devalued their currency. Take a look at Caterpillar stock. Take a look at what's happening to Caterpillar. It's happening to all of us. Right here, you have Boeing. Boeing is being forced to build a massive plant in China, a number of massive plants. Folks, let me just tell you something. Unless I'm president, you watch what happens. Won't happen with me because I know the game better than any human being that's ever lived. Nobody knows it better. Nobody. Unless I'm president, within a few years, they're going to make all their planes in China. They're going to devalue their currency even more. They're the kings of devaluation. Nobody knows currency manipulation better than China. Nobody. Okay? And all of a sudden, you're going to say, you know, our nice new plant, we're not doing any planes. Then they're going to start doing the layoffs, and here we go again. We've got to get smart on trade. Now, when I came down the escalator at Trump Tower, and I went all in front of these people, I came down that escalator. Let me just tell you something. It started with trade, and it started with the border. And then they had that horrible incident in France, in Paris. And all of a sudden, the border became more important. And CNN did polls, and it said, they love us, Trump. They love Trump for the military because he's the toughest on the border. Sheriff Joe, you know Joe Arpaio. Sheriff Joe endorsed me. When Sheriff Joe endorses you, you're the toughest on the border. So Sheriff Joe Arpaio endorsed, and it was sort of an amazing event. You want to know the truth. By the way, great endorsement. Jerry Falwell Jr., unbelievable, Liberty University. Jerry sees every single candidate come through Liberty University. Every candidate goes through Liberty University. He endorsed Donald Trump. I want to tell you, that was a great honor. Sarah Palin. Everybody wants Sarah's endorsement. A great woman and I'll tell you what, that is a great person, endorsed Donald Trump. So, we're going to have the borders and we're going to have our trade. When we started, I talked about borders. I talked about trade. I'm really good at the trade. I'm really good at the borders. When Paris happened, everybody started saying, we want Trump. The polls came in 60%, 70%, 72%. This is 72% with 17 people running. Now we're down to 6. We got rid of all these people. It's so great. It's so great. But we had 60%, 70%. So in terms of the military, in terms of the border, in terms of all of these things, the economy, I expect. But everything was Trump, 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 except for personality. I didn't do as well on personality. It's true. It's true. And you know what? It's true. Personality was a little lower than the economy. But if you had your choice of having somebody with a wonderful personality but was bad on jobs, bad on the economy, bad on security, bad on the border, bad on the wall, I'll take the guy with the wall. I'll take the guy with the economy, okay? Believe me. And I'm also a nicer guy than many of these people running. That I can tell you. That I can tell you. I've gotten to know them. They actually came up, because, we're going to build the wall. Who's going to pay for the wall? Quickly, who's going to pay? So one of these guys running against me, Donald, first of all, you can't build a wall. I said, really? Why can't we? He said, well, I don't know. Can you do that? 15 years ago, they wanted to build a wall, and they couldn't do it because the environmental impact statement for the wall, they couldn't get it approved because there were rodents, snakes, rats, all sorts of stuff in the way. They couldn't get it. They had frogs. They had snails. It's true. Go look. They couldn't get an environmental impact statement approved. Oh, I'm so good at environmental impact statements. Now you have South China Sea. You have China building a massive fortress with massive, massive runways for the biggest military planes in the world. And they've got those excavators. They're not caterpillars, by the way, I have to tell you. And they're digging and they're taking and they're ripping the hell out of that ocean. They're ripping it and ripping and rip. And they're building an island in the South China Sea. and that's going to be a military fortress. And they're not supposed to be doing that, but they have absolutely no respect for our president. They have no respect for our country, so they're doing it. And I said to a friend of mine from China, because actually I do a lot of business with China. They're fine to do business with. I make a lot of money with China. It's very good. If you know what you're doing, you can make a fortune with China. They buy my apartments. I have the biggest bank in the world in one of my buildings in Manhattan in China. Biggest bank in the world, 400 million customers. Think of that. That's more than the people we have in this country. 400 million customers, biggest bank in the world. But I do business with China. So I said to my friend jokingly, I said, when you started excavation, you're building that tremendous island in the middle of the South China Sea. Did you get an environmental impact statement? He said, actually, Donald, no. They came up with the idea on Friday at 4 o'clock, and they started excavation on Saturday morning, okay? True. He said that. He said they came up with it. They started excavation about 3. I mean, we're dealing in a different world, folks. You know, during the debate, the second debate, I love the last debate. Some people said he was too rough. Me. I mean, that's better than some of the others that are too weak. But they said Donald was, and others. But I have to say, Drudge, who's an amazing guy, Drudge does a poll, Time Magazine. I won every single poll for the debate, right? But no, some people said it wasn't my best. I was too tough. But I got like 7 people coming at me from every side. Am I supposed to be nice? That's the problem with our country. We're too nice. They say tone. Hillary Clinton said, I don't like Donald Trump's tone. I don't like his tone. They're chopping off heads in the Middle East of our people. They're chopping off heads of Christians. They're chopping off heads of everybody. They're drowning people 30 at a time in cages. And she goes, I don't like his tone. So they asked Ted Cruz, who's standing right here. I was always in the center, by the way. He's here. Another one's here. I've been in the center every single debate. Nice, right? It's called, no, not easy. Somebody said, that's amazing. Every single debate. You know, I heard Ted's a good debater. I said, he is a good debater, but he can't talk, okay? Bad talker. He's a good debater, bad talker. So he's over here. They asked him about waterboarding. They said, Senator Cruz, what do you think of waterboarding? Oh, I don't want to talk about it. You know, he didn't want to talk about waterboarding because too controversial. And I'm saying to myself, they're chopping off heads. He doesn't want to talk about waterboarding. Then they look at me and they say, what do you think about waterboarding? Now, I didn't poll it. You know, I have more money than all of them put together 25 times, but I don't need a pollster. You know what? These guys do my polling for me. The networks, every day they come out with a new poll. What do you think of Donald Trump's hair? What do you think of his this? What do you think of his that? I mean, I learned more about myself. What do I have to spend money? They spend millions of dollars, the networks, on polling. 2 minutes after it comes out, I get things this thick, things I never even knew about myself. Then they say, how much do you pay your pollster? You get them for free. They do it for free. They say, how much do you pay your pollster, Mr. Trump? I say, nothing. I don't have a pollster. The networks are my pollsters. Every day I get a new poll. I have so much. I'm so busy I can't read them anyway. But I've learned a lot. These guys they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. So Ted Cruz couldn't poll it. So he didn't know how to answer the question. He was mumbling and bumbling. And she goes, well, it's waterboarding. Well, you know, he's thinking it's going to be terrible to say I'm in favor of waterboarding, meaning he's in favor of waterboarding. So he goes, well, I'd like to. You got to see it. You got to see it. Then they say, Mr. Trump. Now I'm thinking to myself, they chop off heads. Not since medieval time, James Foley. Not since medieval times do they chop off heads. Chop off heads. Who the hell ever heard of this? We're in now the worst period of maybe ever. Medieval times, boom. I loved history when I was in high school. And I'd read about medieval times. Boom, boom, chop off heads. When was the last time you heard about chopping off heads? Now they chop off heads. Okay, so now they look at me. Mr. Trump, how do you feel about waterboarding? They think I'm going to say, oh, it's a terrible thing. It's so horrible. It's so mean. It's so terrible. In fact, it's supposed to be, you know, the big question is it torture or not? In other words, it's so borderline. It's like your minimal torture. So they said, Mr. Trump, I'd like you to answer the question, how do you feel about waterboarding? I said, I feel great about it. I feel great. I said, I feel great. And then I said something that got me in a minor bit of trouble because it wasn't politically correct. I said, but I think we should go much, much, much further than waterboarding.